So spoiler alert for Daredevil Born Again episode 7. I mean, there's, you probably have seen it by now because it's everywhere pretty much, but we saw the showdown between Muse and Daredevil, and it was pretty much the final showdown with the character of Bastion. Now, here's the thing now. He was in the show for 3 episodes, if that, more like 2 and a cameo, and like 2 cameos. We saw Bastion, meet with Heather in the beginning of the show. Then we saw him at the end of one of the episodes taking one of his victims. Then we had these last 2 episodes where Daredevil goes and fights him. There was not one single thing between Muse and Daredevil where they spoke, which is interesting. He spoke to Heather, and obviously there's different little things you could pinpoint. People complaining that Daredevil was able to figure out that Heather was the one Muse is going after just based off of his drawings. I feel like it could go either way. Maybe that's how good Muse is, but I don't think we've seen the last of Muse. Now, here's the thing. I think Muse is going to become more of an ideology, going to become more of something that people believe in, a movement in a way, not just one character. It could be similar to kind of like, the classic, thing with Batman and Joker. Is Joker more of an ideology, with, especially with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker 1, maybe not Joker 2, but there also is a shot in the trailer. We see a big mural of Daredevil that says Born Again, and it is perceived that Muse is the one who paints that. Now, this could be really interesting. Maybe Muse painted this before he got eventually killed by Heather. Or, I mean, it wouldn't even make sense because he wouldn't even have that much time. He was pretty much on the run right after Daredevil fought him, I think, at that point. But it wouldn't make sense for that Bastion, for that Muse, to paint a mural of Daredevil almost praising that he's born again. Rather, maybe, based off of what happened in the latest episode, episode 7, where they're going with the story that the anti-vigilante task force was the one that actually took out Bastion, took out Muse, and not Daredevil. That's what Kingpin wants to be. That's kind of what they're setting up, that Daredevil didn't do anything. Daredevil's still not out there. It's the anti-vigilante task force that's doing all the dirty work, doing all the hard work. It would make sense for a Muse movement to paint this mural of Daredevil when the eventual word comes out that Daredevil is out there and Daredevil is doing things. They wouldn't obviously paint a mural that Daredevil is back if they knew that Daredevil was the reason, or a direct reason as to why the original Muse would be killed. I think it's more of a movement. We still have to get this mural be painted, so there is something that's coming. I think Muse will be back. There is a chance that Muse comes back, that Muse, because he does have some type of powers. He could be resurrected by the Hand in some way. There's a lot of different things. I don't know if they want to go that route, if they want to go the route that I said, the ideology. I think it's really interesting. I'm really excited to see what they do with that because, it was a little underwhelming to see Muse in the show for such a little amount of time. I was really interested in him, and then him just eventually get killed just like that. Let me know if you want to see more of Muse in maybe season 1, maybe a mention or something, or a potential return from the Bastion character or another character taking on the mantle in season 2.